Get to the tape. Let's dive into the tape.
Mike Rupp with a Yager-like salute.
Roll the tape.
Rupp with a shot. He's gone.
2 goals for Mike Rupp.
Look at him go. Tape the tape. Let's diggity dive right into the tape. All right, Billy, we just got done talking about how good Kirill Kaprizov's been, right? When you talk about him and Connor McDavid as far as production and how great they've been, there's also other players, right, that help those guys be great, and those guys help those guys be great. And the one I wanted to pay attention to is Joel Eriksson Ek of the Minnesota Wild. And I want to talk about this real quick before we get going to the video. When you come in the league, and I love watching his progression, and you come in the league, you got to earn the trust of your coach. And yes, we all want to. If we went out there in our first game professionally and you could get a goal, like, yeah, it's probably going to give you a little bit more ice time. You get a goal the next game, it's going to give you more. But the problem is that's hard to do. So what can I control? All right, do the right things defensively, be predictable for my teammates, and earn the trust of your coach. That buys you more opportunities, more minutes, more situational play. And Eriksson Ek came in is like a fourth-line guy, and he's kind of worked his way. And every coach that he's had there in Minnesota just loves this guy. And I'll never forget this. I was talking to Bruce Boudreau, and you know how when you're in a situation in a game where maybe there's a delayed penalty, and the next thing you know, the goalie's at the bench, and maybe everyone doesn't realize right away, or there's a guy breaks a stick, comes off. There's just certain situations where the coach will just randomly yell a player's name to go. And Bruce said he used to always just yell Ek. So no matter what the circumstances, maybe he's down here talking to you about something. Yeah. Oh, we need a guy, Ek. Doesn't even know the situation in that moment, but it doesn't matter because Joel Eriksson Ek knows how to handle all that. Do you ever have a player on your teams that are like that?
Yeah, we had some certain guys that would be on the ice all the time.
Like
they
just knew, right? Like
yes.
You could trust them in any situation. We need a goal. We need to prevent a goal. Anything.
There, yes, there was numerous occasions. Jerome McGinley in Calgary would always get called up in any kind of situation. He would jump on the ice. I had a couple of great captains to start off with in Florida: Brian Screwlin, Scott Mellenby. Screwy should not jump over the ice for a power play or any kind of situation, but he would jump on the ice any chance he could get.
And that's what I love about this, too. It's right. So you have him, Joel Eriksson Ek, getting an opportunity to play with Kirill Kaprizov. And this has been going on for a little while now. But it's also like you have a job when you get put up with those guys. Yes, you need to be able to play with those guys, but your foundation and what you do is the reason why you're getting that opportunity. You can't lose sight of that. So we're going to get to the clips here. Just a couple things that he's been doing really well. And the first one here, we'll get going. You got to be able to make plays. And watch this right here. Get applause right there. Be able to make this play, Billy, I know you got a lane here, but this pass just over to Kaprizov is fantastic. Watch this heavy backhand pass, rip it forward, and just get it over to him, right? This doesn't end up turning into a goal, but I just love that stuff. And just the way he hounds pucks, gets in there. He does all the little intangibles, and then we're going to get it on this one as well. And so that's the pretty side of it, okay? Yep. So now we're going to get to some of the ugly stuff. And I like this too, because you know what? Just because you moved up to a top line and you're with the best player on your team, there's Joel Eriksson Ek, we'll watch him. You got to get gritty. Billy, this is your kind of game. Roll it forward.
Yours as well.
Yeah, Faber, watch this. Billy, take this away, because I like the way that he just gets involved in here and digs extra. Get a little gritty. That's how you're going to get results.
Well, you can see on both occasions, he pushed the defenseman out of the way, and the second time he was able to shield him with his bum just to make himself look big. If you're a big player, you got to use your size and your body to your advantage, and Eriksson Ek does that.
And this one, I mean, and again, back to making plays, right? Like, you're a guy down there to serve a purpose. We got the other reverse angle. Billy, the touch on this. Well, right here, Eriksson Ek just feathers one right over to Kaprizov. That's how you get your best player to want to play with you. Give him some of those looks, right?
Yeah, that's where maybe Eriksson Ek has developed. From where he comes into the league to that kind of pass where he's able to elevate it over a defenseman, and it lands like a butterfly with sore feet just on a pillowcase.
Butterfly with sore feet, I love it. And this is the smarts of him as well. So you got a two-man advantage here, which you could see, right? So, you should be able to control a lot of different things, but we're going to look at Ek here and just watch the way he just takes little steps each way. And he kind of has that. He knows how to create that pocket. He knows he's just taking little steps here, present the stick there, get an opportunity. Now watch, the puck's gonna go over here, present the stick. He knows if he moves a little bit one way, he's moving the defense. making a guy come down and get him. This is the effects of a guy doing the right thing. It's not about just standing there. Bring this back a little bit, please, to the top. And I just want to show, keep going, and then right there. Okay, so roll it forward here, and so he's going to back into the net. And this is what I love. And he's going to look around, and we're going to pause it there. Look how he pops out. So he's going to sit there, he's in front, he's going to pop out. And he wants to be an option for a pass, but he also knows that he can get some movement from the defenders. Roll it forward a little bit. He's going to pop out, nothing there, okay? Takes that hit. Now this play is allowed to happen because he's making himself, he's moving around and making everybody react to him. So I just love his brain, the way he thinks the game. And, you know, for starting off as a guy that's just looking to buy, just not get scored on. Like that's your job when Joel Eriksson Ek came into the league. Now you look at what he's doing right now. Since January 15th, you look at the league leaders in goals. Talk about what Austin Matthews is doing. Look who's number 2. Joel Eriksson Ek.
Yeah.
You know?
And so what happens too with these players when they come and you become a grinder and you start to elevate and get more time and you get some power play time. I was talking about it last night, is your brain starts to process everything a little bit slower. When you first come up, grind, hit, everywhere you go, and where you're showing on those plays, sometimes maybe he's just going to be early, quick to those holes. Now you're starting to realize, I've got a little bit more time and a little bit more patience here, even on that backhand pass that he saw us as over. Maybe earlier, it's back and just shoot it on net. So there's some chemistry there with Kaprizov. But I do love when the game starts to, it's a rapid speed, everything's going on, but you're starting to process all the information a lot slower into your brain, and that's what's starting to happen with Eriksson Ek, and that's where you go kind of from a grinder to a plugger, and you start to take it to that next level, and you become a premier, if not star player in the NHL.
And this, look at the line that he's on here. That's not even adding in another guy here, and Matt Boldy. Like what they can bring, like, that's a National Hockey League top line for me. And maybe in theory, Eriksson Ek wouldn't necessarily be deemed a number 1C, but when you got that type of talent on your wing and Kaprizov, like that can kind of offset that a little bit. Love the line, love what they're doing. They're keeping this Wild team alive in this playoff race. And I'll say this, for a player that's always had a defensive game, his defensive attributes that he brings, we didn't even get into that. He should be considered for a Selke. Now he's got the offense to go with it. And I haven't always thought, I think the Selke award has changed so much over time because we've seen players getting a lot of points like Patrice Bergeron, and he's so good defensively. But now Eriksson Ek has that. He's starting to garner that. I think this guy is going to be in a conversation this year for Selke and for every year of his career moving forward.
Well, never forget where you came from, where you started. Don't all of a sudden just become an elite playmaker and believe you're going to be a point guy every night. You know, the old, I was a crusher turned into a rusher, now I'm a nusher.
I'm a nusher.
That kind of saying. So as long as you always have that fundamental basis, and you talk about Selke candidates, you look at Patrice Bergeron, what he did over the years, the offensive skills, but never sacrificed the defensive part of the game. I get to see Barkov close up in Florida. He just never cheats the game. Good things happen. You know that the offensive stuff is going to be there, but where your bread and money is always going to be is on that defensive side and earning and garnering that kind of attention. Joel Eriksson Ek is proving that, and a 200 complete player. Those are so valued by coaching staff, GMs around the league. You can ask everyone. Kaprizov, I guarantee you, a lot of people, everyone, probably goes to Minnesota in that locker room. We talked about jumping over the boards. One glue guy that we can ill afford to lose is Joel Eriksson Ek.
100%. Does so much for that Wild team. So we'll see what it turns into. If that line can keep them hot, see if they get into the playoffs.